Welcome back to Center Stage. We are here with Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Let's get some Mad Dog going.
All right, you got it.
All right, you've got Peyton Manning, you've got Tom Brady. It's a great argument. Who's better, and is it because of the Super Bowl rings that Brady has? Is Manning better? Does he choke in big games? What do you think?
Oh, I think Brady's the better player. Now, I think Brady, by the same tokens, had Belichick to work with, which I think is a plus. Manning, it's too much on him. But Manning's postseason record is just not that good. He hasn't played great in the Super Bowls.
Right.
He wasn't great against the Saints. He certainly, it's not his fault, but he wasn't good against Seattle.
Even the one that he won, he wasn't.
It wasn't great.
Right.
I think he won the MVP, but
Right.
he wasn't great in the game against Chicago, the Bears. Brady, no, he wasn't great in the second Giant Super Bowl. But Brady, in a lot of ways, is good when he loses. The first Giant one in 08, he was phenomenal in a game.
Right.
And he was obviously excellent against that Seattle defense in those last fourth quarter there this time. In a big game, I'd rather have Brady.
All right, let's go back to Mike. You spent so much of your career with him. I've always wondered this, and now you're sitting in front, I can answer it. You guys didn't have a great relationship. You said it was not as bad as people thought.
Right.
I look at Martin and Lewis, and I've read books about them, and Abbott and Costello. Teams don't usually get along off the air, and it usually ends up breaking up. What was it about you and Mike that didn't work off the radio?
There were a lot of moments where the two of us were very close off the air. I remember I used to stay at his house a lot for baseball playoff games.
Really?
Oh, yeah. When I first bought my house in New Canaan in 2004, him and Roe came up. And we had Saturday night dinner. So I think it's a little overrated where, in fact, they must have hated each other. We had our major issues with the George Young Parcells thing was a major problem, which bothered me more than it probably should have. The first big fight is Mike went on vacation. He goes to Florida.
Right.
This is in 90 or 91. And
so you guys were working together
about
2-3
a year.
years. Right.
I forget, it may have been 92. And I forget how it all manifested itself, but they were playing the Mike and the Mad Dog jingles. So I told Steve Cohen, running the board, get those jingles off. Mike's not here today. Mike found out about it, caused a major problem.
Right.
My fault. Blown out of proportion. Next thing you know, we're not talking for 3 or 4 months. So
Except on the air.
Yeah, but I know a lot of times I did shows with Mike when we were arguing where we didn't talk. We did a show. We almost doing 2 separate shows. Mike would talk, I would talk, and we were so good at it, we fooled everybody for crying out loud.
Wow.
But I tell you, it couldn't have been that bad, the relationship. I went to Mike's second wedding. Mike went to my wedding. When my father died, memorial service, I had Mike do a reading. This is a year and a half.
Your dad loved Mike.
Yeah, I loved him. Yankees.
Right.
This is a year and a half ago.
Right.
When I had my 50th birthday party, Mike came. Now, I haven't spoken to Mike in a while, but when we do see each other and talk, there is a kinship that 19 years has created. Got to keep that in mind.
Well, Mike's backstage. Mike, come on out.
Funny. I like that one right there.
June of 2008, you do your last show together. And on August 15th, you phoned Mike to say goodbye. And you said earlier, that got emotional.
Yeah, that was on the air, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I was surprised. And I know FAN didn't want Mike to put me on that day. You know how it goes. You leave a radio station.
Right, because they don't know what you're going to say.
No, not only that, they disappear. They cut you off from the history. But Mike put me on that day at 1:20. That was emotional. I give Mike all the credit in the world for that. He put me on. How can you not put the kid on? He was here for 19 years. So he put me on, and that was an emotional thing. My father called up later on. That was a rough day. And I tell you, I love Sirius. The flexibility is phenomenal. They let you do anything you want. But you do miss the give and take when you have a partner there.
Tough question. You've had a successful run at Sirius XM. Do you ever have regrets that you left?
I miss the give and take. Regrets is too strong. And you can't, I try not to look back, but I do miss at times the give and take, because on Sirius you don't have that home team.
Right.
And when you're with Mike, you got that hometown team. So there are times that you miss that byplay when the two of us, when we were getting along and the show was feisty and fun and everybody's in a good mood, and those are long stretches of 19 years. You can't recreate that necessarily by yourself. It's much harder. And so I missed that aspect of it.
Were you surprised that Mike never took another partner, and Mike has also remained #1 throughout?
My ego would tell you, yeah, I'm a little surprised that Mike remained #1. In hindsight, I'm happy for that. Really am. At the time, probably, you know what? I like to see Mike. Yeah, competitive.
Sure.
Part of it is partly because of the legacy that we both started. So I can say that
people
has
grew up with the show.
Right, and they stick with it. And they still have Mike there.
Right.
So that's part of it. So I mean, I don't feel bad about that. What was the second part of that question?
That he didn't take a host.
Oh, didn't take a host. I without sounding crazy, I don't want to sound cocky because we got a good audience here and I'm not this way. Who are they going to get to? I'm Daffy Duck.
And with that, we'll take a quick break and come back here on Center Stage.